Now I'm doing a garden tour of my vegetable garden beds. This is my oldest and first garden bed I've ever had that Caleb built me. I've had it for about 4 years, and I was going to rip it out this year, but I decided instead we'll just keep it. I'll plant some lettuces and things in here and just go from there. You see the foil that's on it right now. I'm trying to deter bunnies from getting up here because, of course, a bunny came in and said my salad looked really delicious and ate one of them, but one's not too bad, and of course it'll regrow itself anyway. So what I have here, these little things are actually reseeded lettuces from last year. I just found them after I tilled the ground in the bed and ripped up their roots and repotted them together in little peat pots and tried to get them to take off. I lost one. I did have another red one here, but something ate it, maybe birds or something. But the rest of them seem to be doing okay. I don't typically like the peat pots. I heard somewhere that they kind of wick moisture away from the seeds and kill them off, and I have personally noticed that to be an issue. So I did use them here, but I ripped a large portion of them out before I seeded them. So I think that helped. These 4 here are red sale lettuces. I bought them for $1.50 off a roadside stand and just stuck them in, and they're doing really well. And then these are 2 spinaches I germinated from seed and grew in my basement, and they keep wanting to bolt, so I keep ripping these flowers off. I don't know why, it's not even that hot, but spinach is super cold croppy, so I keep just coming by and ripping off the little flowers so that it doesn't disappear. I don't know what these things are that seeded themselves, but I figured I'm just gonna let them go and see what happens. Then here, these 6, and the one that was eaten, of course, these are ones I grew from seed. I started them in the beginning of February, hearted them off at the end of February, early March, and then planted them out because lettuce is a cold crop. These 3 here, that one looks pretty rough. These are actually romaine lettuces I bought from the grocery store, and I just chopped the end off and put it in water, and then I planted them out here. They don't look to be doing super great. Like, this one looks the best, but I figured what the hell, it was food I already ate, might as well try it. And then these 2 here are actually from my arrow garden. I grow lettuce in my arrow garden over winter, and it was my first experiment of taking something from an arrow garden and putting it into the ground because I wanted to see what would happen, what should I expect when I try to do this with my vegetables. I didn't baby them at all. I just kind of shoved them in the ground, and they're doing really well. And this one, as you can see, it was already bolted, but I let it go because I figured I could just harvest the seeds or let it reseed itself anyway. And then, like I said, I did gather all of the lettuce seedlings that came up, even though I had already tilled the ground and everything, but I keep finding more and more. So any that I do find, I just let it go because whatever, I'll just eat it. This is something I actually added today. My mom gave me this cute little bench. So I had this other window box that I put some compost and some potting soil, and I'm actually trying to grow 2 sweet peas. And I have a nasturtium in the front, and then I have 2 calendulas on the side. They're all sort of edible plants, so I figured let's try it. Right here, I actually put a bunch of beet seeds in a row just to see what happened. They took forever to germinate. I thought they didn't actually happen, but I'm starting to see little ones popping up. So I think I was able to get at least some of them to germinate. Maybe the birds ate some of them, I'm not sure. And then I found these today. These are actually radish microgreens. So I'm just gonna let them keep going and see what happens. I have a couple others, so I might have some alfalfa or clover or something taking off as well. We'll see what happens. This is a chamomile I bought because I want to dehydrate the flowers and try to make my own tea. I tried germinating from seed and mine just didn't take off, so I ended up buying one this year. And then this is another edible flower arrangement. I did end up buying a nasturtium because even though I seeded another one, the ones I tried to germinate earlier didn't take off, so I did buy this one this week. This is a Swiss giant pansy that I grew myself. I would also like to dehydrate those for tea. And then, yes, that is a dandelion, but what's really cool about it is it'll actually be pink, and you can actually eat dandelion greens. So I wanted to grow some from seed that weren't in my yard and see if I could harvest the greens and the flowers and eat them. So I'll let you know. And then I just had so many strawberry plants. I just went ahead, did up this planter and stuck it in here. I don't think they're doing as well in this spot. I don't think they get enough sun, but that's okay because I have a lot of other spots and it was more of an experiment anyway. Moving over here, that's our lawnmower guy. His name's Larry, in case you ever hear a Larry reference. That's his little rain house. Caleb wants to make him a dog house at some point, but hasn't gotten that far. This is my blueberry patch. So I have this blueberry that I planted this year, and then I have this one that I planted last year. I added a little pollinator house because I thought if I could get some bees or something in there, they would help cross-pollinate my blueberries and give me a larger production. So we'll see how that goes. I can tell though, they're getting ready. See these little, so I'm so excited. And this is our little rain barrel. This is what I use to water my plants if I need to, like one-offs. If I have to do the entire garden because it hasn't rained for days, I'll just use a hose. But this is really great for like watering my pots or anything like that. And up here we have a thyme and a rosemary. I planted these a couple years ago, and they just keep living. In Pennsylvania, they actually do survive the winter. I was going to move him into my other culinary herb pot, which I'll talk about later, but I decided I'll just let him go. I saw some of his babies because you can see he's like sprouting more babies back here, and I moved them to that pot, but for now he looks great. My rosemary, I harvested so much of it this winter because I used a lot of rosemary for things, so I left him there as well and bought a new one in case he doesn't survive. I don't know if I'm going to plant anything else. I'll figure if I get into it, I will, but other than that, that's all that's there. Moving on to my other vegetable patches. I bought this really fun garden cart this year. I was planning on planting my lettuces there, but I needed some soil and it came later than my lettuces were ready. So today I actually just threw in some lettuce seeds to see what would happen in these 4 squares, especially since I'm having bunny issues in the other one. And then these 4 squares I'm actually going to save to grow my AeroGarden peppers because I don't have enough space in the garden beds, and also I can baby them a little bit more in here. Now moving on to my actual vegetable garden. I'm going to pause the video and walk up front. So here is my 2 vegetable gardens that we built this year. And I actually mean Caleb because he did all of the work. I painted them and I was there for moral support, but otherwise he did all of it and I'm so in love with them. Our plan is to build 2 more exactly like this and then maybe 2 more behind it that are a different shape and smaller beds, but we'll see. I really wanted to try trellis growing, but Caleb and I felt like it was too much effort to go out and buy like a cattle panel, and then we'd need a post hole digger and we'd have to call the electric people out and make sure we don't go too far in the ground. So I just bought this $20 cheap trellis off of Amazon and I used some yarn to add some additional rope just to try it, see if I even like it, because I don't want to go through that much effort if I don't enjoy trellis growing. I was really going for symmetry with these beds, so I went and got these baskets with the extra strawberries I had, and I just bought these hooks because I had smaller ones and they definitely couldn't withstand the weight. This one is a different type of strawberry than the other 2. These are Ozark Beauties. I think this one's a Charlotte. So I put 1 in each just to see how they go. So we'll start on the right. On this side, we have some sugar snap peas growing. I did buy these from the store because I wasn't sure if I could germinate any, and I also didn't have any plans to. I just pruned these up today, so a couple of these are actually just cuttings and I stuck in the ground, see if they regrow for fun. But otherwise, it's already started grabbing onto the rope, so I'm excited to see what happens. This is a Fresno pepper I grew from seed. It has a little bud starting, I can't wait. This is a jalapeno from seed, also another jalapeno, And this is a jalapeno from the AeroGarden. You see he's a little more wilty because he's used to growing in water, and I went and shoved him in soil, so he'll get used to it. And this is another Fresno. Then I have 2 rows of bell peppers. These are the California Wonders that I bought from seed. And these are actually seeds I dried myself from my own bell peppers from the grocery store. So I was curious to see which one would do better. These seem a little bigger, but these are supposed to be one of the tastiest bell peppers, so we'll see. I read that they do better if you stake them so they can like rest against them because their fruit gets pretty heavy. So we'll see how that works. Then this section right here, I actually planted a couple rows of carrots. I don't see any sprouts yet, so hopefully that happens soon. This massive area back here is going to be for my tomato plants. I have them growing still in the basement because it's still a little cold for tomatoes. And I actually ordered some black like cages for the tomatoes, so I can't wait for those to come so I can get that together. These are some bull's blood beets I happened to come across when I was at Stouffer's, and I just couldn't pass up that opportunity. They're just so pretty, and I was really curious how they tasted. This is a celery I actually regrew from scraps. It's doing really well, so I'm interested to see how that goes as well. And then I also hand germinated some beet seeds here. Since I wasn't having luck in that garden, I thought, well, I'll try them over here. They haven't germinated either yet, so it leads me to believe that beets actually take too long to germinate for my patience apparently. Also got a cute little rain gauge. Caleb thought it would be really smart to start monitoring water and rainfall for our babies, so got that this week as well. So then coming from the front of the other side of the bed, again going for symmetry, I got some cucumbers because cucumbers grow really well on trellises. Another one that I bought, so we'll see how that goes. This is a Fresno as well. I planted the 2 healthier Fresnos over there because they get sun a little longer. So I have this one that's doing well as well. And then this one actually never got very big. So I just figured I'd shove him in here, see what happens. And either he germinates or he doesn't. Again, I have 4 jalapenos going. And this is the AeroGarden one. He's doing a little better than the other one, but he's still also a little wilty. But then so is this guy, who doesn't really have an excuse. So I'm not sure, but I did water them again today. And then again, I have my 2 rows of bell peppers. And again, the California Wonder versus the ones I got from the store. And then another row of carrots. Again, hasn't germinated yet. This will be the tomato when it's ready. And then I have 2 more bull's blood beets going. A different celery that I started sooner than the other one. As you can see, it already has like stalks I can eat. And then another set of hand germinated beets. So that is my vegetable garden tour. I'm gonna go ahead and do another video. Thanks.